Hi, it's me, your fellow shitposter who destroyed Tetris way too many times already. This time I'm going to make a somewhat different kind of video, as it's sort of the result of an experiment I made. Let me tell you a little story. You see, I used to absolutely despise Pentominos. And I had my reasons. I mean, it's really a lot harder to get the hang of than Tetraminos. But then, I saw a training client with Pentominos in it on the Tetris concept forum. And after giving it a few goes, I could feel myself getting better with Pentominos, and I started actually enjoying playing with them.
Except for the ex-Pentomino, yeah, you're still a flipping nightmare. I hate you so much, you unusable pile of shit.
The rotation system used in this client was basically an extrapolation of their Eureka rotation system, so it kinda felt like playing Tetris the Grandmaster with Pentominos. But that got me thinking, what if there was a rotation system for Pentominos based on the standard for official games? Then, I remembered that I do know of an official game where Pentominos appear. My test subject for Guideline Tetris experiments, the one and only Puyo Tetris. Before diving into this blindly, I looked up to see if anyone else knew about the matter. And I ended up on a thread on the Hard Rock forum, where people already figured it out back in 2014, so most of what I'm going to explain was already known, but I figured it would be interesting to make a video about it. So here I go experimenting with the Pentomino rotations in Puyo Tetris. But before we talk about Pentominos, we have to understand how the normal Tetraminos rotate. Puyo Tetris, just like most recent games, uses the Super Rotation System, or SRS for short. In this system, when you rotate a piece, it will try to rotate around a center rotation point. If this rotation happens to fail, the piece has 4 other rotations to try. If the second attempt fits, the piece moves there, but if it doesn't, it tries the next position and it keeps going until it finds one. If after the 5th attempt the piece still does not fit, the rotation fails. Each position, or offset, the piece tries is listed in an offset table. This table references every offset for every rotation of every piece. I made diagrams to have visuals of it, so I'll link them in case you're interested. Now, back to our main question. In party mode, you have this item which turns the Tetraminos in your next queue into Pentominos. The way it does it is simply by sticking a new Mino to the piece. That way, J becomes a F, L becomes a Z, O becomes a P, Z becomes a W, and S, T, and I become longer versions of themselves. But how does the new piece rotate? Well, it simply keeps the rotations of the original piece, except now the extra Mino has to fit as well. So for example, if we build a Z-spin triple setup with an extra space on the left, we can fit the transformed Z piece there and make a W-spin triple. The only piece with a difference is the O and P. Since the P has a notch, it has one extra offset in case the notch would get into a wall. This offset is based on how the rotation of the O piece works internally. It doesn't allow for crazy stuff though, so don't worry about it. So naturally our goal would be to see what's the biggest spin we could do with each piece, because I mean, the rotation system we're dealing with allows for interesting things already. Considering what I just mentioned, we can easily edit the SRS offset diagrams and turn all the pieces into their Pentomino counterparts to get a Puyo Tetris rotation system for Pentominos. Now, we just need to select the best rotations and find a setup for them. For the performing part, since I didn't want to bother someone else with pointless boring memes, I decided to do it offline. Obviously, I played as my favorite character, and I decided to have Ekolo as my assistant. He's got decent speed, and he's special type made us share the same items, one of them being Pentominos of course. Then, the tryhard begins. As I don't want to wait 3 minutes on each attempt, I decided to restart every run at the first second if Ekolo didn't drop a Pentomino item. Once the item on his field, I make sure to have the piece I want the Pentomino version of in my next queue, and wait for Ekolo to trigger the item. Once that's done, I waste the pieces I don't need and put the one I need in my hold. I then top out, making me start with a clean board, but since the hole doesn't get reset, it still has a Pentomino in it. After that, I build the setup, get the Pentomino back from my hold, and perform the move. And here are the results. Thanks everybody for watching. If you watched the explanation, I hope I was clear enough so that you could understand how things work. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away in the comments. Take care.